Well, here we are at the second to last scenario in here, and maybe the last historical one. Troy happened, I think, but this one's a little iffier as well. This is apparently there would have been a battle between Babylon and Assyria finishing things off. There may be some records of it. I'm not aware of it. There's very little information in here. They say Tukulti Nunuta, the Assyrian leader, moves against the Kassite Babylonians and destroys their army here somehow, and installs an Assyrian puppet. Okay, well, very little's known and none by me. What we have here is two armies that are fairly similar. This is actually not too different, I think, from what we were looking at against the Hittites. Like the Hittites, we have... Wow, this is kind of interesting. I'm looking at the prior battle. There's the Hittites. Oh no, there they are. Okay. We have a smaller Assyrian infantry stable here. A lot less bowmen, a couple less shock troops. And I don't know how it matches up. It ranges about to here. It looks a little smaller than what the Babylonians have on the field as well. But we do have a lot of chariots, and the Babylonians seem to have less. They've gone heavy over here. This is their light chariot fleet. Now, the Assyrians get to set up second, and they set up their light chariots facing the Kassite lights. But there's a difference here. All the Assyrian light chariots have runner infantry beneath them. Then on this side, we have a much weaker, heavier chariots, the chariot 3s with three men on them. The Kassite, or the Assyrians, have lined up their own there, as well as the royal guard behind that. This is the side they're planning on winning on. They're planning on using the runners to sort of chase these guys off. We'll see how that works. What's going to probably happen is the runners are going to get shot in the withdrawal. They're going to get chewed up pretty badly. But eventually, there is still a fast chariot force to try to keep them away from the infantry. Now, what we've seen, though, is that those fast chariots aren't very good at chasing things away. What ends up happening is everything rides around into a tangled mess and shoots each other up. So I don't know how safe this is going to be. I don't really want to charge forward, but I may have to because I've got my standard with the commander of one of my divisions, the Royal Guard. And I think I'm going to have to commit my Royal Guard to win this. On the other hand, I could, of course, just leave the standard behind the infantry. These guys have no such problem. They can leave the standard back there. They have an overall commander that they could leave back there to rally things, or they could actually pull the infantry commander back and rally things. The problem? Their infantry is a little bigger. Another problem from the Assyrian point of view is it looks to me like the Kassite forces are higher quality. If we look over, you see 7s and some decent infantry as well. It's just my overall feeling, although they don't have anything quite like the Royal Guard, which is really potent. So it may all even out. It may just be a matter of dispersal. The Kassites have their better troops mixed in with everything else. I think the Kassites have the initiative. Yeah, so they'll get to pick a first activation. It doesn't make much difference at this point in the game. In fact, you kind of don't want to move forward right away, so I probably pick the infantry first off. Opening stage of the battle, a lot of chits have come out and not a lot's moved. The Kassite infantry's moved forward. Like I said, I want to kind of shield that standard as well as push forward because I think I've got the advantage with the Kassites for the infantry. This chariot swung forward, I think, on a momentum check, actually. And now this wing is active. Now this set moved up in range so they can be hit. Here's the problem. They outnumber. The Assyrians outnumber the Kassites on this side. The Kassites don't really want to engage here, but there is an advantage to who gets the first strike. And moving the infantry forward, I've got to protect its flank. So I've got to move within range to be hit as well. So it looks to me like I do want to strike. I am not thrilled with how that's turning out. I guess it was kind of destined by the setup, really. And there wasn't much, the Kassites had to set up first. That's their disadvantage in this. There is an option to allow alternating setup. I don't know how much that helps if the Kassites set up their infantry, the Assyrians set up. Kassites set up one division, Assyrians set up. Well, now what do? You set up the other division way over here. Maybe the Assyrians set up here then. It's all pretty much set. I don't see the alternating doing a lot of good, really. One person has to set up one division first. I realize I didn't mention the route points. We got 95 for the Assyrians here and 90 for the Kassites. So they're at a slight disadvantage, just quality-wise. Leadership is also slightly better for the Assyrians. You can look at the commander, 6'5". What does that 4 mean? Yeah, I don't know what that 4 means. Damn. Seem to have forgotten something in the rules here. Charisma, yeah. Okay. That's his big bonus if he goes into the battle himself. He's almost heroic in a sense. And he's not actually heroic because he's got it killed in action instead of a heroic side. So yeah, versus a 5-3-1 alternative, and I don't generally use them for their charisma advantage. That may help in something else. I don't think so though. Leaders 7-3s here, 7-2, 7-2, so approximately equivalent, slightly better, and not likely to get momentum with anything other than the Royal Guard. Well, let's see how this goes. Kassites kind of staggered this double line. They had some thoughts of swinging this around, at least part of it, and trying to charge into place to do some firing behind those chariots. That's kind of risky with this rear chariot here and opening things up here to harass the infantry. I don't think that was a wise idea. I think they but the problem is this takes a long time to win its flank with the fast chariots to fast chariots. They have to shoot out all the infantry and then maybe do charge throughs to get the advantage on firing. I haven't done that much. Often seems better to do other things. I don't know. Over here, though, we see the Kassites or the Assyrians managed to drop a surrounding attacks on everything. They took some heavy hits here for turning penalties. I'll zoom in a little. I know some people like to see a little better. Kassites tried to do a trumping action on this before that happened with this crew. That would have denied them their attack. Maybe the Kassites would get the next attack and be able to plow through these units that they've weakened. They have the advantage on until they got swept around by the flanks. They failed in that. That means the momentum chip for the Assyrians is back in the bag, which could mean two actions for this very, very easily. Or an attempt to move the infantry, which didn't move in the first thing. So they're not fatigued or anything. They didn't move forward. They passed their activation, essentially. All right, I'll take care of the attack. Not quite decisive, but impressive. You see a lot of units destroyed there. Well, one routed away. But most of them are just destroyed. And that's some points quick off the routing table. And the turn ends with the Royal Guard committing. A couple of units only. Charged in, sliced up. One remaining chariot that was there. We still got a couple that are engaged. I couldn't do anything about them. Been able to position the guard so it's facing this way now, and really putting a threat. The Kassites have sort of been neutered here. Their main line, the heavy chariots, it's gone. As soon as that's cleared up, this becomes at risk. Their light chariots, I think they're pretty much neutralized by the Assyrian lights. It feels like the battle's over already. We'll see. I mean, we have to roll the dice and move a lot of pieces and do some kills, but I don't see any way of recovering from this. And it was set up where there wasn't much choice. The Kassites, I mean, unless they turned around and ran away with their chariots and gave this flank up, or got really lucky in that first assault. But they didn't break much. Here's where we are with points. But this has to be, to me, the fastest. Now, of course, I've been wrong several times in the past, but the fastest that a battle just looks like it's committed one way so hard. We'll see how it all turns out. But I just don't see light chariots being able to do the kind of damage. Might have to do some weird tactics, like try run-throughs and see if I get blocked by the runners or something. I have no idea. Okay, so the Kassites get the initiative on this second turn. And, well, it's tough. You know, like I said, there's no great option. I look at the infantry, and wow, I could get like a little edge attack over here. What I'm going to do instead is hope for the best here, and try to swing these guys in and maybe shoot through and try to do as much damage as I can with the lights. That opens my infantry up and my back line to their lights, but I have to take some sort of chance here. As it stands, I've got no chance as soon as this clears up. So let's see what I can do. So the Assyrians push up some standoff fire. They couldn't get any closer and keep their runners with them. A couple charged forward further. They took the worst of the brunt. The return fire, and these are also fast chariots with composite bows, was worse than what they gave. And, well, they're outnumbered, but it's in two ranks, so it shouldn't have been as bad as it was. Over here, the Kassites have kind of broken through with both their units where they were attacked. Now, that isn't necessarily terribly good. They're still outnumbered here and in a lot of trouble. But, well, and we see the infantry pushing up. The Kassite infantry refused to move because they don't want to get in the way of the chariot charge. Got one lost unit here. Another 6 points. And I don't know where we are after that. And we were pretty much there. This is the end of the turn. The Assyrians have managed to wipe out the Kassites. We got one of them routed over here, actually a pretty high valued one. The Royal Guard pushed forward in addition and formed up a line, and it doesn't look good for these guys. They've got the light chariots behind them that are going to be a firing platform, the infantry in position to strike, and then the guards and this other chariot wing able to hit from this side. So I think it just had to come out luckier. They had to get a momentum and shoot in. But now they're going to be defeated in such detail that it would have been much better if they hadn't done this risky move. Yeah. Let's take a look at what we got here point-wise. Right now we're at 59 for the Kassites and down at 73. That can't be right. Is it? 12, 24, 31. That can't be right either. 13, 25, 31. 31 off of 90 something is not this. Is it? Oh yeah, that's 90. And then these guys have only taken 22, which puts them up to that 95 level. Yeah, I think this is pretty much over already. I'll load this one up.